All right, good morning. Left the cabin and realized that I didn't do my morning video, so stopped here in Divide, Colorado to do it. So it is Monday, July 13th, and I'm actually here in front of, this is a church that we'd go to when we lived out here in Colorado. So when we lived out here, we kind of went to two different churches. This one was very much closer. Then there was another one that was between Woodland Park and Manitou Springs. I think it was called Agape at the time. I drove by it and it's changed, but that one didn't look churchy. It was more of a metal building. But anyway, so yeah, we used to come here, and this is probably 5-6 minutes from where I'm staying. So plan today is to go down towards Woodland Park, probably top off my gas, and then head between Woodland Park and Manitou Springs is a little town called Cristola. And then I'm going to get up onto the Rampart Range Road and take that north along the Front Range all the way up. And there's a whole bunch of trails and stuff up that way. So just kind of see where I end up and then work my way back down this way. So yesterday was an interesting day. Got to see a lot of the old stuff, house, the sawmill, Lake George, bunch of, Wildhorn Ranch, but ended up getting flat, which took a good chunk of my afternoon because I just took the wheel off and ran it down to Colorado Springs to Cycle Works, and they had they could repair it, and I bought the tube from them, so I still had a spare. But all's good now. Got the chain tensioned and everything's good to go. So, but yeah, so I'll let you see the other direction. And so this is Divide, like the one stop sign in Divide, and then that's Pikes Peak off in the distance. So. And I don't know what they're building, but there's some construction actually going on here. So anyway, looking forward to today. It should be a good one. Okay, I'm here in Woodland Park, and this area is relatively unrecognizable. So this was the middle school that I'd went to. That is a new building. That wasn't there. This old building was here, and I'll go around it. All this pavement, this was our playground. This was where we played a lot of soccer and football. And the football was my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Gallagher, who was awesome. He would say, if we get through our material and everybody does good on the quiz, we'll go play football. And everybody loved it, and he was full-time quarterback, and it was fun. So I'm going to turn here, because I remember there was buildings here that were part of the school, which is now the community center. And then right back up over there is where I took the Taekwondo at the height of Karate Kid, probably. Who knows? And then this was the road that went to the high school. I'll show you the high school in a minute. Okay, so this is what was the elementary. So this looks very similar. That playground, I'll tell you a story here in a minute, actually. And that one too, these were all here. Yeah, that first playground is where I bailed out of the swing, and that was Mr. Lyons. No, that was a different teacher. I can't even remember who that guy's name was. And he took away all my recess for the remainder of the semester, which devastated me. And then my mom found out, marched in there, and got my recess back the next day. So, good old mom. Funny story here. So this wooden, I'm sure it's a new wooden one, but we had a wooden play set like this when I was here too. And we had those large wooden or rubber tires, but at the time, and I don't know if those are the same ones, it'd be crazy if they were, but at the time those tires were up in the middle of the playground, and they were actually standing on edge with the bottom edge buried, and so you could stand in there. And two things: one, that it smelled like absolute piss in there, and two, I'm not so sure that inside one of those tires isn't where I kissed a girl for the first time in elementary school. I think her name was Barbara Hayes. I could be wrong. It was very long ago, but I do remember those tires. up here on top of the hill was the high school, which I never actually went to this high school, obviously, but we had different functions here and whatnot. But I do remember in this high school, that building looks newer, so it must have been this building. We also had like our big Cub Scout meetings. So my dad was like, I think Cub Master for a year or something. But anyway, we did that there. So yeah, I went to that elementary and I went to that middle school. I did not go to this high school though. Alright, I'm coming down Green Mountain Falls Drive. This is between Woodland Park and Colorado Springs, and that Joyland building is the other church that we used to go to when we lived here. And it was not named that, it was named something else, but that was probably the first place I got introduced to a little bit more non-traditional church services and whatnot, which I thought was interesting. And after that, we moved back to Iowa, back into more traditional services in Pella until Third Church kind of came along. So actually, this Green Mountain Falls, we came through here with kids when we were out here however many years ago and hiked up to Green Mountain Falls, if I recall, and I think it was down that road. But no, this is a pretty little back road that I think takes me into Manitou Springs, so instead of being on 24 the whole way, I thought I'd do this. Two lanes this way, 2 lanes the other direction, and a creek that runs in the middle. Springs. And we also came here with the kids years ago when we stayed out here for a week. And we ate at one of these restaurants or something along here. But I do remember this. I remember that like the week after we left and we're back in Texas, we're watching the news and they had torrential downpours and flooding. This is the place I think we ate. It was on the national news, and this road was a river, like just flowing. It's crazy. Okay, so this is Garden of the Gods by Colorado Springs. That's Balancing Rock. It's really just a cool place, to be honest. I mean, this is probably the biggest tourist attraction here in Colorado Springs area. And I'm going to go down here a sec just to look through Garden of the Gods, but that is where I'll be going, Rampart Range Road. And if you look in that big left one, that's the Kissing Camels, they call them. That was always my favorite. Mom and I would drive through here sometimes just for fun. And I always liked the Kissing Camels, but it is a crazy rock formation. I mean, it's like nothing else around it. Everything else is, you know, granite rock and, you know, jagged mountains and all that stuff. And then here, and you know, in the foothills, it's like these big spires stick up. So yeah, it is pretty beautiful. The old motorcycle wave. I don't even know what kind of bike that was. That's pretty cool. There's Garden of the Gods and Kissing Camels. And here's the backside of Garden of the Gods that you can see. Bicyclist, but his gear said U.S. Olympic team, and this is where they train out Colorado Springs. So that could be where I'd want to go. Here's another good view, backside of the sun. Alright, I promise I'll stop talking about them. Okay, here is the beginning of Rampart Range Road, so I'm going to ride this. I think it goes, I don't know, like 26 miles or something like that. Find out. It is not an off-highway vehicle road. You have to have a license plate on your vehicle to ride it. It does have signs that said caution, rough road, blah, 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 but I mean, it ain't nothing like some of the single track and Jeep trails that are available out here. It's going to be mostly switchbacks and just cool visibility. So coming upon people that I need to pass. But anyway, and there's the Pikes Peak. Probably going up that either tomorrow or Wednesday. Could be a cool view. Gonna eat a little dust today. So anyway, here's Rampart Range Road. There's a good view of the Garden of the Gods. The gentleman in the Toyota was nice enough to let me pass. Okay, still climbing on Rampart Range Road, and I'm gonna pull over here. Nobody's coming, but here you can see. So down there at the bottom is Garden of the Gods, and then that's Colorado Springs beyond it. And this was a big old burn site. I don't know when this one occurred, if it was the same one that was happened when we were years before we came out here last time, but kind of interesting because they got it stopped, I think, on this side of the ridge. Because I think, let's see where the road goes. Because when I came around down there and around that corner, there were trees, and then there wasn't. But yeah, they've got some big forest fires down south and then further out west. That's why you see all this haze. Like if you look over in the distance over there, you can see all that coming off of I think it's called Aspen Acres Fire. There's good old Pikes Peak. Yeah, but then you see this side, there's trees all down in there. But then it got, the fire got up into there. But this valley didn't get it. So, just interesting to see. Alright, so still on Rampart Range Road. It's a nice road. The scenery's great. I do like when you are on a road though, and like either back there I took a picture, I could see where I'd come. And I like when you can see exactly where you're going to go, so you can see the zigzag and up over the mountain. But one thing, while nobody likes the fires, but it does allow you to see the landscape better. Because there's times like when they're covered in trees, you'd never see some of the little rock outcroppings, things and stuff. So. But I think this is another example. So this side got burned, and it looks like that side did not. Looks like Jeeps are taking shortcuts. Looks like deep sand to me. That ain't much fun on a motorcycle. I got into a little bit of deep sand yesterday, of course, when I was working on my flat. Whew, she was swirly. Quick video, but if you look right down here, you might be able to see there's 2 deer running. There's another one right over here. Those are the 3 that I've seen so far since I've been here. And if you look in the distance, you can see the Pikes Peak Highway. It goes all the way through and eventually over that way, I think, and up. And if you look at the tippy top, you can see the visitor center. And there's cars going up. Alright, so still on Rampart Range Road. Actually, didn't get a video. I thought I'd have a better angle, and it never got back to it, but it went by Rampart Reservoir, which is the reservoir that Tyler and I rode our bikes around. That was a bigger endeavor than we anticipated, but really the reason I started the video is because we got logging operations going on in this section of the National Forest, so we're cutting down a bunch of these trees. This is the kind of stuff that my dad did. Had a skidder, wasn't quite that big, and a loader. So yeah, it does remind me a little bit of back in the day, because we'd be out here in the woods day long cutting wood. There's the loggers right there. Oh, there comes a Harley. So yeah, the road has gotten much more passable since Rampart Range, because a lot of people I think come up from the Woodland Park side. So I think Woodland Park resides down over here, and so this section gets a lot more traffic. I think we probably rode on some of this when we were out here last time. Well, this is a neat little road. I don't think it's still Rampart Range Road, but I don't know the exact name of it. But it comes down into this valley. It's just gorgeous. There's a river or creek running down here to the right. Yeah, this is 37 mile marker, so this must still be Rampart Range Road. Nice little shell. I haven't seen too many people. I've seen two other motorcycles. One of them was an African twin. But yeah, just beautiful riding. Neat little mountain off in the distance. So it gives you an idea of this road. This is a pretty cool area. Look at these rocks on each side. Way up there. And we go right through here in the middle. Got somebody up in front of me. Still on Rampart Range Road, and log jumper trailhead, so if I need to find this on the map, there's where it is. But they said that this was a bear area, so apparently bears hang here quite a bit, but that is not why I turned the video on. Actually, over here to the side you can see these cool ridge mountains. And the topography's changed a little bit. A lot of these boulders. There's a boulder back there, I swear they're the size of a house. Yeah, that one said bear area again too. I have seen one bear on my motorcycle before. And that was in Arkansas. It was a black bear. Even though it was brown, they say that the sun gets rid of it. But yeah, look at that mountain ahead of me. Topaz. This is the nice thing. Part of why I just went around looking at old stuff yesterday, and today I can do more of the public lands and all that, is because yesterday was Sunday and the traffic was, there's just a ton of people, and I'm sure on this road would just be not bumper to bumper, but a lot of people with dust. And so far today I've only come upon 2 people. So So, man, I've been on this trail for, geez, I don't know, a couple hours. So it's been good. I'll keep you on just around this bend, see if there's anything to see out here. Alright, so this little road, I think it's like 41 or something like that, goes from Sprucewood to Nighthawk. Neat little road. I mean, wow, that is a 15% grade. Check that out. It's like part gravel, part paved, but really switchbacky. And it's just a county road. Wow, that is a grade. They weren't kidding. Back up the page. Plus, I figured I needed to go over to Nighthawk, Colorado, because, like, that's a cool name. Here comes a little shelf road. This is my ride for the foreseeable future. Alright, so this is West Creek and West Creek Lake, I think, or something like that. But just took some video because I just stumbled upon it. Actually, I was going for a different trail, and this is where me and Jody and the kids stayed however many years ago when we came out here. So there's a cabin down here that we stayed at and brought our mountain bikes, and Tyler and I rode up and down here quite a bit. This cabin up here, Tyler, we were practicing going up and down, or down this big hill in front, and Tyler wiped it, bent his rim, scuffed up the whole side. We got a I can in my mind still picture the picture that Jody took of him pulling his gym shorts down just a little bit, and he's got road rash all on his hip and everything. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, this all looks exactly the same as it did. That had to be 10 years ago, because Tyler was not very old in that picture. It's probably more than 10 years ago. Yeah, this house is right down here. That swim platform's a new thing. Oh, there it is. That's the cabin. Gosh, it's all grown over. Yeah, that was it. Looks like nobody stays there anymore. That is it, right? Yeah, that's it. Here, let me turn around here. Put maybe a driveway that goes up. Yeah, when we came, we had to go up this bad boy. I don't think anybody stays here much anymore. It's crazy. And here's this. Well, crazy. That is it. That's where Tyler wiped it. Alright, this is Trail Creek Road. I just entered Teller County. On the map, it shows this is a blue, but at the Y back there were two to pick from. One was green, the other one, and this one was blue. I decided to take this one. To be honest, the green one immediately went straight like uphill, and I don't know if that was an indicator, but I'm like, I don't know. Well, this one's blue and it says it's harder. I'm gonna give it a go. But yeah, neat little road. It's just kind of bumpy. It runs along this creek, heading kind of southwest-ish. So we'll see what this road entails. The other one was like Phantom Creek, I think it was. Well, it looks like it's going to make a little climb up. Little sandy. Grab a gear down. Wait, which way? I gotta look at my map. This is probably just campgrounds. Zoom in a little. Yeah, this is just campgrounds. Okay, here we go. Up that hill. Traction control's good. A lot of sand. That's the thing. You big old girl don't like the hills, and definitely don't like when I gotta drag the clutch to get going in that sand. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Neat little road. Alright, so we'll see where this one leads. Alright, a little bit of a water crossing. Not much, but one thing that'll make it more interesting is the sand. Yeah, that is thick sand. I'm going to just turn around so I can see how deep those ruts are that I created, because that seemed like a lot of rut. Oh yeah. Yeah, this sand is reels down on the river bottom. So, let's see how many of those crossings we got. Be a good Jeep road though. By the looks of the tracks, mostly trucks and Jeeps. I don't see many ATV tracks, nor any motorcycle tracks. Alright, another water crossing. This one looks like it probably won't be as sandy, but could be wrong. I think I'll go over here to the right where there's no rocks. My feet might get a little wet. I'm in first gear. Here we go. Okay. All right, well, here's water crossing number 3 for this trail. So, obviously, since it follows the creek, it keeps going back and forth. I think we'll go here to the right side. This one does not look like it have a very sandy bottom, so that is great. Got some clouds building in, so one, I kind of like the clouds because it takes the sun away, which it is 90 degrees. You can tell the difference in the temperature tremendously when you go from about 9,000 feet that I'm standing. Oh, here's another one. Oh, this is a long one. To the lower elevations. We're going to take this also on the right side. See how this goes. Ooh. Damn. Kind of had to power through some big boulders. I don't know if you see my knees in the shot. Pull them up pretty high. Yeah, the one thing about water crossings is, for one, they're slick. For two, you don't know exactly what the bottom is. So it could be sandy, it could be rocky, both of which are a little more difficult than regular roads to navigate. And three, you really don't want to use your feet, because as soon as you use your feet, you got wet feet for the rest of the day. So you're trying to balance on the slickest, most shifty ground you're going to ride on all day without using your feet. So my tact is usually a lot of people stand up. If it's real deep, I'm probably going to stand up, but I also can't shift as fast when I'm standing up. And sometimes, unless you're in first gear, you got to shift. If you got to shift to another gear or something, then standing up it's hard because you almost got to lift your foot off the peg. So I probably do it the grandpa way and sit, steer a little with my butt, get a little more traction on that rear tire, and then if I need to, when the splash gets big, I can pop up my feet. And I'm sure every professional adventure bike rider out there would disagree with my method, but hey, I'm 3 for 3. Alright, there's a cool rock, and then this is Signal Butte Trail. Oh look, a dry creek. So I thought I would take this, because this will take me then over to Phantom Creek, so I'll have been able to do really 3 different trails. So, yep, this is the right one. Whoa, sand. Alright, here we go. This as bad, but we shall find out. Yeah, because this bike just really ain't built, whoa, for this stuff. Alright, made it up. Whew. Oh, jeez. Wow. Lost the front tire on that sand. Caught it with my foot, which was probably a bad idea, but did not injure myself. Okay. You know, and the funny thing is this one says it's a green. But I think when you got four wheels, it's a green. Just not my friend. This is deep sand too. Boy, that stuff is tough. Whoa! Lost the front end again. God, I cannot keep the front end out. Let's pause here just a second. Make sure that, I'll tell you what, you'd swear that those tires are flat the way they feel. All right, here we go. God almighty, this is not good. Lord, get me out of this sandy stuff. Self. Anything that says trail, you're going to want to probably not do. You might want to stick to the. See, this is going to be shitty too. Stick to the roads. Big old girl, she just ain't. If you're on a 400 or a 450 dirt bike, shoot, you'll probably shoot through this stuff like nothing. It's just 600-pound, 1,000cc fully loaded machine is not your friend. I don't know what that is. Oh shit. Okay. Look. Sorry this recording so long. I can't even get my hand off the handlebars to stop recording. Okay. Up. Learning. The other issue, besides just my general lack of experience in sand, is these tires are 50-50 tires. So 50% on-road, 50% off-road, and that does not lend itself to paddling through sand. But hey, I'm getting up on top here. Looks like it's getting a little better. Okay. Jeez. Man, give me an ATV and this. It'd be some fun stuff. Side by side. I like ATVs a little better though. Okay, looks like we're gonna make it to the top. Yeehaw. Alright. Now I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna go. So, and turn you